fundamental truth of all human interactions and core to the way learning and teaching happens is the interplay of instructor and student identities. How we think of ourselves as instructors intersects with how our students see us. Similarly, how we see our students intersects with how they see themselves. These dynamics strongly shape the expectations, assumptions, means of communication, effectiveness of assessment, and real-time interactions in every space, in the classroom, the research lab, seminar room, everywhere learning and teaching occurs.
Identity and its relationship to interpersonal interactions has taken on so much more import in the past year with the ongoing anti-Black violence and racial injustice in America. Bias, disparities, structural and systemic oppression based on visible identities and especially on race has become a central conversation and shifted many of our perspectives on the role we play in creating equity.
When moving into a new space, it is beneficial to start by reflecting on your identity in order to consider how to best create the interactions that support all learners. The process of reflection involves the conscious consideration and analysis of beliefs and actions for the purpose of learning. Self-reflection, whether on self or on interactions with others, is a core part of learning and a means of creating the behaviors that we seek.
Your identities include professional, positional, social, cultural, and relational identities. How might these identities impact what students assume, what they hear, what they expect, and how they relate to you? Your identities frame how students interpret your presence and words, and the lens through which they view your course and pedagogical choices. When you hold the role of instructor, your visible social identities will be seen by your students and will be interpreted in ways that will impact your teaching relationships, classroom climate, and course outcomes.
This reflection on your own identities is also a gateway to reflection on your audience as learners in any teaching situation. How will your audience see you? How will that perspective depend on who your audience is? What are you assuming about your audience? What does your audience seek to learn from you? We will take a few minutes now to consider your identities and how those might affect learners' assumptions about you and therefore the dynamics in your course, and return to the general questions around audience in the next video.
As we lead you through an examination of your own identities and their impact in teaching and learning, we ask you to use an asset-based framework. That is, rather than consider attendant challenges with various identities, what assets are associated with your identities that might prove useful in planning a group meeting, designing a course, speaking to students, building trust or credibility, being sensitive to classroom or other situations, identifying creative solutions to challenges, or modeling positive behaviors. How might your perspectives or lived experiences be of value to the learners in your group or the students in your course? Consider that you are stepping into a new role. Part of stepping into it is to recognize and utilize the assets you already have, but may not think of bringing forward.